We're very lucky tonight to have Allan Knight with us, who's an author and has been a Zen monk for 9 years and has a free 9-step program at the moment. I know 4 of the ladies on here are doing that, plus myself. And you've also got a bigger course as well that you're going to talk to us about tonight as well, hopefully. So would you like to introduce yourself, Allan?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's not much of a course. Those are the 9 mini videos that give you an overview of the 9 steps. So I don't want to misrepresent that. But thank you so much for having me. I apologize for not having the same accent that you have, so I hope you'll understand me.
No, it's lovely. It's lovely. It's exciting for us, Allan.
Well, Canadians are not that exciting, so, but I appreciate
it. We're in lockdown, so it really is, Allan, honestly. We can imagine.
So you want me to, where would you like me to begin, Kate? Do you want me to just give you a very...
Your spiritual journey, how you kind of ended up on your path.
Yeah, I'll keep it as short as I can, but basically it started when I was 13 years old. My mother was diagnosed with cancer and told she had 6 months to live. And she went on to live about 15 years. So
Wow.
My mother was my first role model of the power of the heart, the power of the human spirit. When I was 19, my father died. This is starting to be very motivational, I can see.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of taking a bachelor in psychology course because I knew that down deep I wanted to help people, but I was too screwed up myself. So I took a year off, traveled the world. I went to Europe, including England as well, and traveled for a year, went from country to country to country to country, city to city. And I said, wow, that's nice. But is that all there is?
Yeah.
I felt that there was something missing on a deeper level. So around that time, I had my first real life-changing experience where I came close to dying on the desert near the Mediterranean Sea. And there was a lot of fear that invoked. And I went from being pretty atheistic to, when I returned home to Montreal, where I'm originally from, I started to have a kind of an open heart to exploring my spirituality and getting into personal development. And it was around that time that I met some people from what was called the Zen Meditation Center. And I was blown away because their eyes were calm, clear, centered.
Yeah.
There were about 25 of them there. And I said, that's what I want. And I moved in, lived like a monk for 9 years until I missed women too much. And then I left the monastery.
Fair enough.
That's my start.
That's your start. So what was your biggest takeaway? I'm sure there were lots, but your biggest takeaway from that 9 years?
Well, the first thing that I realized when I went back into society is that, and since you don't need to be a monk or nun to learn what I learned, but it's okay, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That was number one. The other big takeaway was that what I learned there was how to meditate and how to tap into what I call the Zen zone, that clear, calm, centered mind.
Yeah.
I also learned that unless you integrate that with every aspect of our lifestyle, there was going to be a limitation to its benefit. So that's when I went back to university, got a master's degree in counseling psychology from McGill University. And my thesis was the quality of relationships with other people begin with the quality of relationship you have with yourself. And then I set out to creating my own training program because I felt I wanted to help people, but I felt it wasn't just about meditation. It wasn't just about rah-rah seminars. It wasn't just about life coaching. I wanted to create an inner and verbal mastery program because I felt that as I began to teach and coach, that a lot of people would come to me and they would say, can you help me master my communication skills, be it in business or personal relationships or dating or soulmates or whatever it be? And then I would ask them, how much work have you done on your personal development? And then they would say, oh, I've invested 5, 10, sometimes $20,000 on this or that. And when I did my evaluation on them, many of them still procrastinated, still had a too busy mind, social anxiety, lack of confidence, and the list goes on. So it was at that time that I realized something was missing, and I set out to create my 9-step formula which is akin to getting into the gymnasium, working out, and in a relatively quick way, get to achieve a deep level of inner peace, self-confidence, mental toughness, and start mastering your communication skills from the inside out.
So that's, you used obviously that time you had. Was it the same as, you know, how we see on the television with Buddhist monks, where you're kind of stripped back and it's just a very, very simple life? Was it a similar experience to that when you were doing them? When you
I mean, when I was a monk?
Yeah.
Yeah, very simple life, intensive 4 times a day, intense meditation,
Yeah.
study, physical labor, a lot of quiet, a lot of silence.
Yeah.
And so it was very intense, but that's wonderful. But at the same time, it's not enough. And that's what I learned later on, that because if you don't integrate it, we're also live in the human world. And just like you can become too attached to material things,
Yeah.
I learned that you can become too attached to spiritual things and then actually run away from who you are. So it was a great escape for me because I didn't have to worry about Allan, the personality, Allan with the background experiences, Allan with some of the pains and hurts in relationships. And so the 9-step formula that I created integrated all of it, the past, the vision, the inner fitness, the lifestyle, the actions, the accountability, the self-mastery, and then going on to deal with your communication skills.
So I like that, the inner fitness, an inner fitness coach. That's the first time I've heard of that expression.
Well, being in marketing, we have to market ourselves a certain way. It's kind of interesting, Kate, because for many years, I was very reluctant to even mention that I was a monk. I thought it's too spiritual. A lot of people are not going to like it. And my marketing friend kept saying, Allan, you should promote that. People want to know about that.
Yeah.
And then ever since I've used that term, everyone says, wow, that's cool. Well, it's not as cool as they think, but it's nice that they think it's cool. But it's the best thing I've done from a marketing point of view, not to just say for marketing, but for reaching out to people who find it interesting, So I've called it inner fitness. I've called it mind fit. I've called it different things along the journey.
So that's a huge part for you to have taken that time out to look at yourself and really strip everything back. That's a huge thing to do, and to stick to that for 9 years is massive. I couldn't do that. It's actually
Well, I
proud
think
of that.
I don't think I was such a hero in that. I think the kind of person I was, looking back, there are positives and negatives. There's a part of me that was kind of running away from myself too. And but it was all in the end very positive because all of it contributed to who I am today. So I don't regret any of it, at all. But again, the nice thing is that people don't have to live that intensive experience in order to practice it. As a matter of fact, the way I teach it, I say within 60 to 90 days, if you go through my basic program, you will absolutely become quite successful at achieving a deep level of inner peace and inner confidence. And not only that, but then you have a self-coaching system for life. So you don't need to be so dependent on an outside coach, including myself. That was the other thing that bothered me about the self-development world, that I felt that there were a lot of speakers and trainers and coaches that were always upselling you into another course, another course, another course. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to create something where you become your own coach. Don't depend on Allan Knight. Yeah. And that's why I've fairly recently started a certification coaching program. So ultimately, people of different backgrounds, different personalities could become coaches. And then when I go on to the next life, it's bigger than me. It's going on like a ripple effect, way beyond Allan Knight, the personality.
Yeah, like we were talking about that on the call, and I really like that you're kind of going to leave that legacy at some point for other people to pick that up, that mantle up. But you've also written a book as well, haven't you? The Zen Zone Mindset.
I got to clarify that because it's been an interesting journey. The book itself has been an interesting journey. I started years ago writing a book, and I thought I was going to call it A Knight Without Armor, because I thought at that time I was going to go down the road of soulmates. Then I changed it to Mind Gone Wild. And I've adapted the book recently, and I've recently launched it as the Soulmate Revolution.
So, okay.
As a matter of fact, we're working now on the final version of the book, even though the book is up on Amazon as of last week. We're going to revise the book cover for a number of reasons. But the Soulmate Revolution encompasses, for years, I didn't know whether I wanted to go down the path of focusing on the business world, the entrepreneurial world, but soulmates, the concept of soulmates was always my true passion.
Yeah.
So we're really focusing on the soulmate revolution, starting with your inner soulmate, and then leading to communicating and attracting the kind of soulmates that you want in your life, because we have many soulmates, including our twin soul, if that's what you want to attract in your life. So the soulmate revolution is really my focus. The online course that I'm developing is going to be the Soulmate Revolution, the 9-step formula. And if people want to adapt it to sports performance or entrepreneurs or, business communication, they can do that. But my focus right now is the Soulmate Revolution. And it starts first with training as many people in the Soulmate Power Program. And then as we develop it and more people graduate, my true desire is to create a soulmate network, which would be an alternative to some of the dating sites. So when you meet people, you know confidently that the men and women have gone through their own mastery as a foundation to great relationships. That's my desire. And even a future desire for me is possibly becoming a soulmate minister and marrying people.
That would be really cool. When I was talking to you
That's
before,
maybe phase 3.
no, that sounds great. And you were talking about soulmates, because I thought of soulmates as your twin flame, or someone you're having a personal relationship with. But you were saying soulmates is friendships, it's all sorts of different levels.
It's so important what we're talking about now, Kate, because for the longest time, part of why I resisted promoting the Soulmate Revolution is, in my mind, anytime I looked at the soulmate teaching that's out there, it's always about soulmate drawing in the one, drawing in the one, drawing in the one. I thought there's a lot of pressure in that. And I thought recently, about 2 months ago, I thought, just a minute now. True soulmates mean deep connections. We have many deep connections. We have many soulmates. We have friends soulmates. We have business soulmates. We have family soulmates. And we also have potentially romantic soulmates and even a twin flame. So we have all of it as a potential, but it all starts with the inner soulmate. And then we choose, if we get into the inner soulmate and we grow and learn to accept, adore, and love ourselves unconditionally, that vibration that we create within ourselves will then draw other like-minded soulmates into our life. Some will be friends, some will be business, and even the one. That's why I call it the book, Soulmate Revolution.
Yeah.
Find all your soulmates, including the one. And to be honest with you, I've been blessed and am blessed with a number of soulmates. My twin soul passed away over 10 years ago. But even if I never met anybody, if I meet someone else in this lifetime as a romantic soulmate, I'm open to it. If I don't, I feel so connected in a wonderful way and grateful for who I am now that it's okay too. And I have amazing people in my life. So I think it takes the pressure off of drawing in the one.
Yeah.
The one will come organically as we learn to let go and surrender to our own unconditional love we have for ourselves, I believe.
No, I like that, because I think we can get caught up in this twin flame or this perfect person, and you hear other people talking that they've met this twin flame, and I don't know, it can be almost, what's the word I'm looking for, disheartening. So I think it's nice to know that there's lots of different people in our life. And do you believe
that's also
sorry,
I was just going to comment to what you said. I agree. It's almost like saying, I'm going to go up the Himalaya mountains tomorrow. I mean, it's overwhelming. You don't need to feel. The key is the inner soulmate. Yeah. Because if we can connect with the inner soulmate and live in peace, in acceptance, and in love all else comes from it. Whatever happens is okay. But I have many friends who are very spiritual, but they're still like, yeah, but I still want the one. Yeah, I still want the one. And by the way, even if they find somebody and there's an amazing connection, guess what? Unless you work on yourself, the fears and all the crap's going to come surfacing up and people will run away from it anyway. It's called the runner and the chaser.
Well, that sounds interesting. Could do another session just on that one. Do you
Just
feel,
on that.
yeah, let's book one in. With the soulmates, do you feel that there's often a past life connection with people that are in our soulmates now? Or not necessarily?
Well,
Sometimes there is.
what I'm going to share with you now is my own personal opinion, has very little to do with, the actual program.
Yeah.
But being a former Zen monk, to me, there's no doubt that we have lived before, and we've had many lifetimes, and we've had many relationships. And it's just, how do we prove it? It's more of an inner knowing. If I say to you, Kate, I love that woman over there, her name's Jane Doe, and you said to me, prove it. You know what? I can't prove it. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it here. It's not an intellectual knowing. In the same way, I feel strongly that I have had many relationships from the past, and most of the deep connections I have intuitively, I feel like we've known each other before.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, so what? We don't have to label it. That's not the main thing. The
Yeah.
main thing is that we enjoy the results of it, but I happen to believe, yes, past lives have big impact.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more? I know it's you don't want to give it away, but a little bit more about your course.
What do you mean I don't want to give it away?
Well, you don't want to give all the juicy bits away, but because I know you said in like 40 to 60 days, wasn't it? In 40 to 60 days, you can
60 to 90 days.
90
yeah.
days, you can see a big kind of shift, a big improvement.
I'll simplify it in this way. Being an Aquarius by nature, my friends who know something about astrology, I tend to look at the global, the holistic approach, and that's why when I started to do coaching and training, I wanted to connect the dots. I thought, people are running to this course, that course, this course, that course. And at the end of the day, it's not consolidated.
Yeah.
So I like to believe that the 9 steps that I came up with ultimately through years and years of development, the first 7 have to do with empowering you.
Yeah.
8 and ultimately 9, but mostly 8 has to do with communicating with others. So just to be really quick, number 1, step number 1, connecting with your present, self-evaluation, assessment. We look at where you are now, where you're strong, where you need to work on, so you get clear on your present current condition. Step number 1, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Step number 2, connecting with your past, dropping the armor, letting go any negativity that still lives us today, the toxicity, the emotional, psychological fears, sadness, anger, whatever it be, the negativity. So number 2, we deal with exercises that have to do with zapping the past, neutralizing as much as possible the negativity that's still living in. You got to get that out first.
Yeah.
Then you replace that with the positivity. Number 3 is connecting with your vision. Now we're ready to look at, who are you? Now we've cleared the cobwebs.
Yeah.
Who are you? What's your direction? What's your vision? What's your purpose? And we have exercises related to crystallizing that. So 1, 2, 3, within a week, easy peasy. Now the heavy lifting starts. In order to live that dream of number 3, we need to be solid in the inside. That means our mind, rational mind, transforming negative beliefs into positive ones, channeling our emotions, which is often left out of it, channeling our fears, anxiety, stress, whatever else is there, into passion, into enthusiasm, into joy, and then tapping into that inner Zen zone. So we have a whole range of inner fitness exercise in 4 to make sure you're mentally tough and sound from the inside. But that's not enough. 5, connecting to your actions. We need to build out the lifestyle around us. So that's when we get into personal accountability system and time management. A lot of us are kind of not on track on the day-to-day things we need to do. This is not,
That's my one. I need
this
to
is
do
not
that
the,
one.
this is not the sexy part, but it's very important. Prioritization, success partner, personal accountability system. Now we're building out the outer lifestyle. So 4 inner, 5 outer, inner, outer, over a period of 30 days. That represents personal power. Now we're feeling better and better and better. Number 6, my favorite, busting through the barriers, the obstacles and challenges. You and I are going to have challenges from the outside and inside our own mind. Now we teach them self-mastery exercises so that they learn how to pick themselves back up quickly, get back in the zone, back in the zone, back in the zone, until you get to a stage where you live like I'm pretty well living most of the time, is you're rooted in that Zen zone of clarity, self-mastery. No matter what happens outside or inside here, get back in the zone, back in the zone. That's a wonderful place to be. Now we're ready for 7, which I call connecting to your personal magnetism, where you go to a deeper level of motivation, confidence, self-mastery, so electromagnetic that you're able to live in a state of grace, harmony, magic. And 1 to 7 is accepting, adoring, respecting, loving yourself like your own child. Now you're a walking love machine. Almost nothing bothers you, and you're just walking with wisdom and love all day long, effortlessly. Now life becomes effortless, and it's beautiful. Now, founded on that, 80% of our communication in step number 8 oozes out from the inside. You've already done most of it. Now we teach you some technique, questioning, listening skills, understanding personality types, how to negotiate conflict. That's easy peasy in step number 8. And then number 9 is leaving a legacy. We teach you how to get into legacy circles to make a difference in the world down the road. Those are the 9 steps.
Wow. And where you've worked through this program, have you seen people that have ended up with their soulmate, or ended up where you've just seen them really blossom and grow and step into their power and achieve what it is they want to achieve and make a difference?
I could tell you both. Is that in the last 6 months alone, no less than 6 people that have gone through my course have met the most incredible person in their life. Those that haven't are totally happy because they've been in dysfunctional relationship for so long. They're happy that they're with their inner soulmate and know that it's going to happen organically, that they will meet the right person at the right time. Others were in a relationship with their soulmate, but it was dysfunctional, which is a lot of people are like that. And by going through the program, they and their partner have gone to a whole new level and salvaged their relationship and their marriage. So it could be any of the above has happened. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No, that sounds amazing. I'm excited. I'm going to find out some more information about this, because it's, I mean, I've done some courses, not anything as advanced as that, but where we do have to really look at ourselves and give ourselves our self-love and be in a stable position ourselves, really, until we can then be with someone else.
And also, like I had mentioned to you last week when we met, one of my major focuses right now, I haven't had much time, but I'm doing it more now, is I'm really looking for not just people that want to go through the program, but I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for people that are either coaches but don't have an existing program like this, or someone who wants to be a coach and doesn't have a program. Because if I could help train as many others, not just to go through the program, but to teach it, then you're going to have people around the world in different languages, different personalities, teaching this. And that's my goal. So if anything happened to me, the whole legacy is moving on. With Ali Wali is not that important anymore.
No, that's amazing. I think it's brilliant. I love it. And I'm going to open up now, see who else wants to ask you any questions. But let's just have a look, because there's so much you've told me about yourself. So we've covered your book, and I'd like you to put a link up as well on that, on the group.
Okay.
So I'll open that up for you to join and put a link on that about your book and about your course. As I say, I know if you have done your 9 steps, the videos that you were sending out, there's about 4 people have done that already on there. I think we've covered. Thank you. Yeah, I've asked you about your unique formula, and you've given us all the information. So yeah, I'm going to pass you over now to anyone who has any questions for you. So let's just end it on there a second.
If they don't have any questions, either I was terrible or really clear.
I'm sure that's not the case at all.